crossfire setup there. It's just impossible to deal with because Zephyr still finds a one.
Ahora tiene que reposicionarse, cuidado con lo que hizo el choque de Shai. Toxic aprovecha, muy bien Kesnit, muy bien castigo. ¡Oh! ¡Es Kesnit!
Well, folks, we've seen another full 24 rounds of VALORANT played, and wait for it, 0 spike diffusers on Lotus. An absolute mud wrestle between these two teams. Again, it almost went to overtime as we were witnessing what could have been the greatest comeback in America's history.
I'd just like to give a PSA to everybody. It's 5 slaps on the back, and then you're supposed to get into this kind of position.
You're gonna roll under the ribs.
We're gonna go up,
Yeah.
up like that, and that's what you need to do if you see choking like
so
that.
I'm the 3-year-old of access to Legos, and you're
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Don't put the Legos in your mouth again, you naughty little boy.
I won't, and also I will stop trying to rely on Oxy clutching my rounds to save us.
Yeah, that was, I mean, again, it was an Oxy round that finished things for Cloud9, but let's roll it back to maybe more halcyon times. The first half of this map where Cloud9's attack side looks pretty flawless. They are all over this.
I mean, we built this segment when it was 11-1.
We did.
Assuming it was going to be, okay, nice and pretty wrap-up. The attack side's looking so much better. When, honestly, the overwhelming narrative might just be Cloud9 again, almost letting it slip. But it is looking better in terms of the attack side calling. You look at this, historically, 33% in 2024. Pretty dire. It's been a big question mark, and it has been noticeably improved in that aspect, even if it's slipped in other areas.
Yeah, and I think part of it comes down to the fact that they were running double smokes instead of their double initiator comp. Double initiator, fantastic for flood retaking. Double smokes, they were able to find those timings, like the one you just saw from Vanity, around the map. You should still be able to win some more of your defense sides, and that was worrying. They were getting big ults online and then squandering them. And at the end of the day, Crew were like this far away from making history.
Nothing like a fake comeback in a match like this to really top it off. Round 22, though, that's a couple of rounds before the end of the game, we have an incredible Kesnit clutch. I mean, the guy is stuck in like a 1v2. Things start to go wrong over a tree, and he makes his long rotate over towards the seaside.
Yeah, there's so many risk rewards running through Kesnit's head at this point as well, but he decides to take the fight aggressively in this moment. Earns himself the ult because of it, because Cloud9 are disjointed, getting themselves into it, and just about spots Vanity in the timing there. It could have just gone wrong for but a moment. Saves him for a second as well, but this, I mean, highlights, I think, a consistency with Cloud9 and what I've noticed from their gameplay, that when they're down a lot of rounds in a row, everyone tries to step up to be the hero. They don't slow it down and sync it up. That's an almost better example. I can't fault them as well. They were just disjointed for a second going through the connector. But just in general, the amount of times this team has to lean on Oxy to pull off some deity-level miracle, like actual fish and water for thousands, like type of beat in these rounds, man,
Was it
is
water?
insane. What
They
was
had
it?
a river. There was a literal
Was it
river.
just fish and bread?
Yeah,
Yes.
fish and bread, mate.
This guy went to Bible school. I didn't.
This guy getting his parables mixed up. Bible school.
Listen, we could. I mean, Greek mythology.
Right, that's where your strength is.
Maybe. But the point I'm making is, it's fine to have star players stepping up to save you, but you don't want it to be the thing that's always
That
consistently getting
defines
you over
you,
the line.
right?
Exactly.
That shouldn't be your identity as a team.
Yeah.
I'm worried because they were so good at the flood retaking previously on that map, and it felt like they just couldn't sync it up properly. I think Crew also at some point started to believe they were hitting shots really nicely, which was something they weren't able to get online in the first half. I have no idea what to expect, though. That's a classic Cloud9 roller coaster. You're up, you're down, you have no idea, but there are wild round streaks in a row. They can't stabilize. This team is either winning and they are always ahead of the game, and Vanity's calling puts them even further ahead, or they're losing and they can't come up with the adaptation.
Yeah, 2 gears that this team tends to run with. Quickly looking at some of the highlights here for C9. I feel like the Rooney Clove had a pretty big impact early on. There was, as Baby Bay points out, multiple occasions in which he gets good ult value. Zephyr towards the end of that first half as well. There's that nice little double detain that allows Oxy to sort of, satchel in and get the finish off with the showstopper. He ends up with that quote-unquote MVP showing, but, Kesnit also has to come alive in that second half to make this fake comeback possible.
I'll pivot this into more of a discussion as well as we look forwards to map 3, which is Haven, because I spent most of that map expecting it to be over, rewatching the VOD of the last time they played Haven, just trying to pick out some of those key differences. And I think that they play this double initiator comp where you're going to see similar roles for kind of Rooney and Zephyr, maybe not, obviously Rooney playing the Clove, but they had these massive turn-ups and step-ups at this point. But again, a tendency I've noticed is they get so individualistic. Like they are the most American team of all time. They are grilling some barbecues. There's fireworks up in the air. The 4th of July. The Declaration
Gender
of
reveal
Independence
parties in sort of like dried out fields. Yeah.
Exactly.
What is the Cloud9 theme song as well? It's like,
I got my blue jeans, my Ford F-150.
all the pain gone turn me into a monster.
Exactly. They're really fitting into that narrative. But
It's like the James Hetfield song, right?
it's the thing that Imi keeps getting pissed off about in these interviews is that they just keep not playing together. The discipline isn't there. It's like we don't practice. It's like we don't listen. All of that, I can see this reoccurring theme is that when it starts to slip for Cloud9, everybody tries to step as an individual rather than actually thinking about slowing it down maybe. Are we going to rethink how we play this area of the map? Are we going to rethink how we're going to do this? No, everyone tries to step up as individuals. And that's what goes amiss. That was what I was noticing just rewatching the Haven map they played versus Sen way back ago.
Well, it all comes down to this, folks. The winner moves on to face Leviathan tomorrow, and the loser has their year come to a close. One last time, here's Doug and Baby Bay.
Thank you so much, Mitch. Poetry is often a cruel thing, and this feels like the most poetic way for these two teams' years to come to a close. One map to decide who survives, who goes on. And again, remember, if it wasn't for Cloud9, Crew wouldn't be here. Yeah, right? Like, they're the only reason that they made their way to playoffs, and now they're potentially one map away from sending them home. And obviously, you can make the same conversation on the other side as we turn our attention over to Haven, the stage that will decide whose year comes to a heartbreaking close earlier than expected, earlier than desired.
And remember last year's LCQ, it was Crew who sent C9 packing to that lower bracket in which they had to play against Leviathan. This time around though, one of these teams gets eliminated right now. And if Crew are to do it again, that would be insane for Cloud9.
Fate is a fickle thing as we've got Kesnet on the Neon.
I think this is his first time playing Neon actually this year in official.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And it's on Haven. I mean, Neon on Haven can be really good, especially paired up with that breach. And the fact that you're not running against a Cypher allows you to get into those sites with only basically taking some chip damage from mollies.
And I think knowing that you've got Heat, who's been absolutely ridiculous this entire series on the breach to set him up. I mean, Kesnet has all of the tools to have a field day right now.
Yeah, just to give some context to everybody watching out there, Heat is plus 24. He's got 50-something kills, whatever deaths. He's
plus 24.
Plus 24. He's 8 first kills, 1 first death. And then his assists are off the charts as well, right? He's been doing everything for his squad.
I mean, we've talked so much about Heat has been a way to alleviate a lot of the pressure that Kesnet was having to carry on previous iterations of the roster. I mean, this could not have come at a better time, and what a performance from him so far. But none of that matters if the season comes to a close today for Crew. They've got to get this thing over the finish line, and same goes for Cloud9. For as much as Oxy was ridiculous, he's got to find a way to put Crew away. A heavy lean towards C. They've already dashed out onto the site. You've got Zeppa, who still has his fault line. And they're taking such a heavy step back.
Taken out.
Yeah, the fact that Cloud9 has all of this garage control, you have to see a re-clear from Crew. This space, it's too hard to retake if you don't control it. It looks like they're not going to go for it, though. If they don't go for it, they need to keep players here holding it.
That's a fault line. Careful in the swing from Cloud9 as they're going to try to funnel their way out of garage, back into spawn, and they've got them wrapped in. The one benefit is they've got Melser, who's still playing back towards long. Kesnet's already gotten it to half. He's so weak, though. Vanny dancing around the smoke. He swings out into his death. Kesnet's going to be able to stick it the whole way. The last couple of kills come through the way of Crew as they get the pistol.
Mad props to Crew and whoever decided to use this retake the way that they did, understanding that garage was out of their hands, out of their control. Instead of opting to fight for it and kind of pinch their garage, they went from C long and CT spawn and pinched whoever was stuck on the site, isolating all those players in garage. And yeah, Heat, the one that we talked about, who he was the one sitting in the back with the fault line trying to hold that garage window. He gets taken out, but he did his due diligence and he did his job with that stun, getting 2 assists on the board.
3 Bulldogs, a Guardian, and then the Ghost in the hands of Crew. If they're able to convert this, you know, we've talked about it so many times, they're so well set up for a bonus if they can convert it. And that's certainly going to help their causes as Vanity's already dead. Cloud9 trying to commit to the plant once more. You have the stun, you've got the pair of what? That wasn't supposed to go that way.
Yeah,
they've gotten
this
another.
costly, Doug. This is so costly. A Bulldog upgraded, but Oxy gets taken out into the round. It was scrappy. It was anything but clean from the side of Crew. Melzer overheating a little bit, jumping up on top of that box, but they're still able to get the trades in their favor.
Well, and I think the most important thing, too, is thinking about what they're going to carry over, Dre. Is they've kept 3 rifles going into the next.
Yeah, 2 Bulldogs, a Guardian. All weapons to set yourself up for success into the future rounds. Even Shy, we got the glimpse of him investing into a Vandal into that round since he only had a Ghost. Nice shots from Moose.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's not easy, especially with a Classic, which has like first bullet and accuracy and whatnot.
Moose has been so good for Cloud9, man.
He's stepped up huge in this playoff as well. He's had a bunch of good moments in this series alone.
Currently sitting at 3-2.
What was that spam? I've never seen that one. Was that from front B, maybe? From Shy? I think it was from Shy, actually.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, that would make more sense than the players towards A. that almost freaked me out. I was like, is there something I don't know?
And so things slow down here. Crew have taken a lot of space towards A main already. I mean, look at how far up Melzer is. Now has to TP and give the position away, but they've got to understand here, they don't have any A main control, and I think Cloud9 wisely do. They turn their attention towards C. Oxy's already dashed out onto site. This feels very reminiscent to the pistol.
Yeah, last 2 rounds, honestly, they understand that C site has been free. But on a map like this, you can't play every single site. If you do, you kind of just get smothered. Right. You get overwhelmed. So the retakes have been really good so far from Crew. Can they keep it up?
Oxy's in a really good spot. Only able to find one, though. Now they're going to have to deal with Cloud9 and all of the presence that they have down C long. Heat's already fallen, but again, the trade comes through. No shocks to speak of, no nanos to deal with. It's just going to be spammed through the smoke if they try to pull this off. I don't really know. Does MTA try to dart through and they try to fight through the smokes? They're also so concerned about the push coming in from Garage, and it never arrives. The bullet's unable to settle. It seems like Cloud9 will be able to get away with this one. Very nicely done.
Yeah, a good post plan. If you're going to keep giving us C site, this time we'll just play the spike. We don't need to play too aggressive. We've seen Oxy do his thing, though, where he will be the solo man on site, having his teammates use utility. That is where Rooney got tagged up in the beginning of the round. That makes sense. Oh my gosh, had he stayed an extra, second, maybe he dies there. Yeah. That's a big difference into the round. But you're going to see this a lot, especially on the C post plants. This is something Oxy likes to do. On A, C, whatever, even in the back of B, he likes to play up close and in your face. He's been doing this for about 2 years. I remember playing against him in Challengers. He was doing the same exact thing.
That flash right at the beginning of the round and a little bit of pace coming out from the defense as Kezen tried to hold A main. Really nothing there as Cloud9 currently on the doorstep of B.
Very interesting from Crew. There was a lurk smoke used this time around in that A lobby. Around right there from the side of Cloud9. Basically makes it so you have to be worried about short and long. But Crew were kind of ahead of that. They had all 3 players. They had a Neon, Breach, and a Cypher towards that front B site. So it looks like both teams have done a lot of prep work on this map. I mean, C9, they've just ended C almost every single round. Crew this time, they think that maybe because of the A look that Vanity showed early on, that maybe the players crept up towards long and they're going to pop and execute, but it's going to be another C. Post plant maybe. Oh, second guessing themselves. They're doubling back. They actually had a free site.
Hey, they don't have a ton of space anywhere else either. It's not like they have someone who's contacted up towards B or A or anything like that.
Bit of overcooking here from Vanity, but Oxy, he has all that space, and that's
30 seconds
why
left.
the call is coming back. Look at this. A full rotation. It's going to be another free C site, all because Oxy crept up. He's so confident.
Melzer's in a really good position here. And he's the first to find the feed. Vanity down, a tap of the spike, and now they've got the Hunter Fury they're going to have to deal with. 13 seconds left. Oxy looking to push the pace back into spawn, and he's dealt with. Can they delay any longer? 45 HP, he's got to get the fights now. 4 seconds left.
No time.
If he commits to it, he should be able to stick it, but it's going to be so damn close. Oh, there it is. He's gotten it down to 1. Moose left alone. Can he connect? Only on the first. That was way too close. That candle was burned all the way down. Crew get their third.
Down to the wire. The trading and the 2v1. Who else than Heat? Spotted Moose with the jiggle, doesn't get taken out, and then gets the trade. Oxy almost came up huge here, trying to get that fast flank in. And Zeppa, him getting off the spike right there in that little millisecond moment. That was a game-winning play right there. He just couldn't connect onto the player in logs. And he almost had a chance to kill the player in logs as well. MTA took a little bit of time to clean up that kill right there.
A round was down, I mean, to the tiniest of margins, and that's what's going to force the timeout here from Cloud9. They're first up the map. They're down 2 rounds. It's still very early.
Very, very early. And it's been a free C site for 4 rounds in a row. It's these retakes from Crew. The way that they're able to identify what the post plants are, the positioning of all the players of C9, it's insane that they have this type of composure in such a high pressure moment like this. For Cloud9, Imi, he's got to be telling his squad, when we played the spike the previous rounds, that was how we won. Well, the only round they won so far, right?
See what the adjustments are here. You mentioned the fact that C has been open every round. Do Cloud9 lean into it? Are they expecting Crew to stack that, knowing that they've lost there so many times? Or do they just continue to lean into the retakes that you were talking about just a moment ago?
It looks like it's going to be a change of pace from Crew. They're going to take the fight to Cloud9 with this walk down in mid. The fighting squad. Kesnet connects, but doesn't get the kill. Vanity sitting at 45 HP. And yeah, it looks like C9 are looking like they're leaning into this.
Honestly, given that exchange of utility, yeah, Vanity took a little bit of damage here, but it's not like they had a ton to work with, and they drew out the paranoia from Melzer. If they were able to navigate early aggression from Neon in towards mid with a fault line over the top and the paranoia from Garage without dying, that feels like a net win.
Yeah, and on top of that, they get the orb onto Oxy, who's able to get these jet knives online. This could be really good. MTA on the pixel angle, can't connect. Kesnet looking for more.
And he hears all of this.
Oh, the timing is perfect!
He's gonna find them all, isn't he? The paranoia, really nice response and a filthy shot from Rooney.
Always good for one.
MTA trying to hold the line in the smoke, and he cannot as Melzer drops down from heaven. Vanity's left alone. He will get cleaned up. There were a couple of real tight moments there, but the gun difference on full display for Crew.
Again, the trading from Crew as well. They're so close together with their swings. Even if Vanity connects onto the first, the trade is going to be there instantaneously. But that shot from Rooney was ridiculous. Oh my goodness. The fadeaway, he was still moving on it. My lord. What a tense moment.
It's still early, still plenty of VALORANT to play. Kesnet has an op.
Revealing area.
See a dart right at the very beginning, a little TP to try to get ahead of it. Player spotted on both sides. Space given back.
And I wonder now, Crew, this is unfamiliar territory. C9 haven't really taken this A-long space and just froze. Are they going to be proactive? Are they going to just play in backside? It looks like proactivity is going to be the name of the game. They're clearing out short, but the response from Cloud9 is they're going to try to break these trips into Garage, identify where the Cypher is playing.
Cover going out.
MTA's fault line should be up here relatively soon. He's posted up towards short. They've taken so much space, or excuse me, Heats, not MTA's. I mean, they've passed right by each other, and there's nobody watching A.
There is a camera here, but I don't think that Shy is going to be aware of this timing.
No.
Oh, Zeppa.
It's making a lot of noise. They've got to know they're there. They're going to walk into the disaster that is Crew holding the line. MTA getting his 2, and that's a spike down there. He's been surrounded, and now Vanity's left alone. He's been able to scoop up the spike, but guess who's waiting on the other side? It's Kesnet with the op.
These exchanges, they're so scrappy. It's blow for blow, tit for tat. But Crew keep coming out on top in these moments in the 2v2s and in all this weird chaos. The proactivity was great, though, from Crew. 3 players going short. Rooney getting the kill on the Melzer was a nice entry. But this man right here, the old but new addition, huh? He was here at the start of the year, comes back at the end of the year.
You mentioned this was unfamiliar territory. Again, Crew have not played Haven this stage.
Kesnet hasn't played Neon all year.
There are so many firsts, or I guess it's been a while, that we're seeing here. We'll go back to that in a moment. You see the buy for Cloud9. It's not great. You've got Oxy who's managed to get backside. There's the Rolling Thunder, but Oxy has dodged it. He's gotten backside again. With Stinger in hand and time being bought. What can he do?
And that's crucial time being bought as well, because those Omen smokes fade. And Vanity, he got picked off, so how do you exactly entry? How do you help Oxy here? If he gets cleared out, it's done.
I mean,
getting a kill right there is great.
Only one found.
But yeah, you gotta back up now. There's no choice here. It's too scary.
There's no real idea of what's on the other side.
Shy hears the turret. He can't exactly finesse his way through, but he will be able to break that. And now Cloud9, they're gonna have to re-clear front B.
Yeah, I mean, they might end up B entirely. Instead of just clearing out the space, they might try to end there.
Yeah, and front B is a good spot where in the mid round you can contact in with like the only rifle that you have, which is Rooney.
Left.
Oh, and
In
I
this
think
case, it's a Stinger. But
and also neither team has smokes.
a free plant as well.
You should run. Spike plant.
Wow. They've invested the lockdown. Shy's gonna be trying to re-clear, and Rooney just destroys him.
Obliterated him.
Remember the hop, still in the hands of Kesnit. That's a really difficult weapon to try to do a retake with.
Shortcut.
He's got his ult. Does he pop it here? Rooney and Zeppa are both so weak. I mean, if he commits to the finger guns, that's a massive advantage, but instead he upgrades to a Vandal. The swing through, Zeppa's dead. And that was almost Kesnit's life. Can Moose find a little bit of space here? Rooney trying to commit to the ult. He is gonna get the kill, but it was gotten to have. Can Kesnit clean it up on his own? No, what a swing from Moose. What an investment from Cloud9, and what a round win.
They had to get on the board. The way that they were losing a lot of these previous rounds, it's heartbreaking. The fact that they were able to steal this one away, even though they had to invest 2 of those ultimates to do it, it gives you a chance to climb back into this half. And with the way that crew are playing right now, I mean, you're gonna have to climb to heights that you never imagined.
They're all dead?
And
Stinger, so powerful in those moments.
honestly, for as much as we've talked about the matchup between these two, Kesnit's playing Neon for the first time. Crew hasn't played Haven in a long time. It's been a really long time. In fact, the last time Crew played Haven was against Cloud9. And it was map 3 in that upper bracket matchup that you were talking about from LCQ last year. It was 13-6, the way of Crew. That's what sent Cloud9 down. It's familiar territory.
Insane.
In a very unfamiliar setting.
Just to speak about how close these rounds were as well. Look at the economy from Crew, even though they were winning so many rounds. They can't buy. It's a scrappy buy. Oxy takes the head off of Kesnit. Sit down, son. Gets another one on a Shy.
They just don't really have the guns to fight back with here.
The delay in the back sight.
That was the one rifle that was still upstanding. It's just Sheriffs now.
Wait, there's a chance.
Spike planted.
The 2v3.
Last player standing.
Never mind.
The chance was slim. So you imagine Melser will do any sort of damage he can. Or at least just die to the spike in a 1v3 situation like this. I think we've got to go back to the previous now in the Cloud9 we're able to put together, because I think you're right. For as much as these rounds have gone the way of Crew, they've been so scrappy. That's what put them on this. It wasn't really just securing the second. In a lot of ways, it was securing the third as well.
Exactly. 2 rounds in succession for Cloud9. And that's why you see a timeout now from the side of Crew.
You tried.
Nice cleanup in that post plant. Oxy going huge on those entries. And all of a sudden, we got a game on our hands with what honestly looked like Crew were just running away with this one.
But honestly, I mean, given how this series has gone so far, we've had 2 13-11s. Did we really expect map 3 to be anything but this super close map?
Been a banger series so far. It's still giving. Crew have a chance now to stop the momentum of Cloud9. And if they don't, their economy's not going to be good. Cloud9 might be able to bring it within 1 round.
Adam again trying to control and corral his troops and figure out what the approach should be for the rest of this half. We've talked about the stakes so many times, so I want to hit him one more time just so you guys know what's on the line here. The only way for either of these two teams to make it to champs is by placing top 3 in playoffs. And this is elimination on the line. You have to win or your year is over today.
So much pressure. And this A lobby, A short, A long is going to be pressured as well. On the flip side, a walk down mid.
Yeah, this looks very similar to the setup we saw a couple of rounds ago, where Kesnet tries to take a space, there's a paranoia out, and they try to fight through grass if there's any contact, but there's nothing there this time. And so Heat's able to keep his fault line, Melser's able to keep his flash too.
With that being said, though, 3 players were found out spamming that window area, trying to catch out Moose in that rotation, and that's why all this A space was gathered for free.
There's a lot of presence.
A lot of proactivity.
Zeppa's one away from his ult. If he can grab that orb and they commit A, given where Oxy is right now,
Ooh.
it could be disaster. Meanwhile, Moose trying to find a little bit of space.
Wow. The double swing in that moment?
Safety valve is no longer around. 1-for-1 traded as the flash comes through, the spike in hand for Zeppa. They've managed to get a little bit of room here. Vanity and Rudy posted up alongside him. And there's the ult. Kesnet has popped it. There's a Rolling Thunder too. The Paranoia will buy a little bit of time, but keep a close eye on Heat. He's up in heaven. Can he buy his time?
Oh.
Only one found, but he's still healthy. He's still got plenty of room to work with. Crew snatched his sight right back.
And another retake the way of Crew, this time playing the numbers game. Kesnet, he's doing a really good job, even though this is his first time playing Neon this year in official, of getting a kill and then getting out, playing with his team in those moments.
Yeah.
The old Kesnet, I mean, he just overheats. Maybe he goes 1-for-1 and all of a sudden the advantage is the way of Cloud9. But the way that he's playing this Neon, it's almost like he's playing for the team. The double swing front B that picks out Moose, all these little things are playing a factor. They're very micro. But it's why, when things get thick, they're able to come out on top.
Crew have won more than half of their retakes.
Caution here.
They've been laying it on heavy in the retakes.
And they're winning more than half of their 4v5s.
Get out of my
I mean, this
way.
has just been such a stark contrast to what we saw at the beginning of Lotus. But again, Cloud9, persistent in their approach. Try to hit C once more.
So much utility, poor Oxy.
I mean, that's the life of a Jet. When you got Cypher on the other side, Vanity getting aggressive. Only finding one though. And now Moose left to his own devices. Yeah, good luck getting back into this one.
No, he's absolutely locked out. This was such a fast pace on the flood from the side of Crew. And it's all because those trips got so much value. It took so long to break them from the side of Cloud9.
Yeah, there were 2. I believe the first one was cleared out traditionally, but then Oxy gets caught by the second, and he dies. You're right.
He couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
He's trying to move forward, trying to dodge the fault line, but then he's met by Shy, who's just sitting logs in that one-way or whatever cage was down on the ground there. The flood from Kesnet sliding out in full effect. Heat with the supporting flashes, then he just goes in guns blazing as well. Melzer gets taken out.
30
Still 30
seconds
seconds of play. Kesnet sitting at 10 HP. So many crossfires in play right now, but it looks like Moose will be able to isolate Kesnet in this 1v1.
And for as weak as he is, this is still a difficult one, but Moose wins it out. 13 seconds left. He's now more than halfway to having his ult online.
10 seconds left.
And so I think he continue to lean into this a little bit more. He falls at the hands of NTA ultimately, but I think the big takeaway, he's now 2 points away from having his lockdown.
Yeah. Considering it was a 1v4, bringing it down to 2, getting 2 away from your lockdown.
Yeah.
What a map Moose has been having. Yeah, look at this. He's just caught in between so many different sets of utility.
Both trips get a tag. Vanity gets caught by the first, and then Oxy with the second.
And that's exactly why you saw the flood. Slide out from Kesnet, then Heat. He's been so sharp all series long. All of a sudden, Crew are running away with this thing. Kesnet has another operator online. This time, going for an A short peek. No one to reciprocate.
And so they're going to leave him posted up there while the rest of the team rotates back.
Classic Haven right now. The thing is, he's not going to be here for this retake.
They don't commit to the TP, but Oxy does commit to the site, and he gets the best of MTA too.
Yeah, he's aware that Shy's stuck here, but he loses that battle.
Oh, he's waiting on the other side of the smoke. The ult is so good. It's going to give everything away.
Oh my goodness.
Melser's backside. Shy's on the swing. He gets 3 on the round. The value that he's had these last 2 rounds has been ridiculous.
Last round.
The ultimate finesser. How many times on this C site is he gonna play inside of his cages? Getting so much value. Shutting Oxy out. Oxy was aware, he was dialed in on that angle, but he couldn't connect. And then, yeah, that ultimate, that was too good. Able to go in the smoke when he realizes it's clear. And look, he's saying, why are they coming to my site?
The pressure starting to pile on for Cloud9. They haven't won a gun round this entire half, Trey.
And if I'm not mistaken, it was on Haven where Cloud9 also choked the last time they played in playoffs. This time they don't have any chance though. There is no lead that they have. The last LCQ, it was Haven that was the nightmare for them.
Silence over the site as we reach the last round of the half. This is a brutal setup. I mean, if there's any contact, he can drop a flash or he can just swing. Meanwhile, the trap was actually the other way as Melser gets dropped. And so Cloud9 now take a step back. Still a lot of time left in this round. You see the fault line drawn out. And it's a foot race to the other side of the map. If they commit to C, though, they're going to have to deal with the trips and they're going to have to deal with Shy, who's been so devastating these last couple of rounds. I imagine the first trip gets cleared out. Wait for the cage. Both of them used. Still one backside. And Oxy now posted up in garage. He's got a little bit of presence. Kesnit's over the top. He's got the op in hand. There are actually two that are down there. How do Cloud9 hang on? Given the number deficit that they have, how do they manage this disadvantage? Utility coming through, the wall goes up, Rooney goes down, Vanity and Oxy left alone. It's all on Vanity, and he will meet a similar demise.
The key moments for Crew. Shy, it looked like he wanted to run into the site in that moment. But second, just the hesitation. He's like, okay, let me just back up. We're 4v3. We've won almost every single retake in this half. Let me play with the squad. That's been the difference. This crew looks so different. They're playing together on a level that we haven't really seen since last LCQ.
They lock Cloud9 out of the entire half and get this close. I mean, this close away from knocking Cloud9 out. We're gonna throw it to a break and then the desk. We'll be right back.
Halfway through Haven, and there have been a couple of individuals on the crew side that have stood up and have taken them to a massive lead on the defense side. Beautiful play here as well. The C-side getting locked down in general, and Cloud9, gentlemen, have really struggled to get through Crew's defensive setups. This guy on the screen, Heat, a huge part of that, my God. On that breach, he's been electric.
Yeah, these are his stats from map 1 and map 2 as well. It's just unbelievable what he's been able to put up today. He's stepped up when his team needed it, single a limb, had to make it top 3, and he's looking to try to win.
I've just been so impressed, I think, since his introduction into this team as well. You know, you're not really speaking the same language as a Brazilian player. You know, he's coming into this new system, and he's had to learn new roles, and he's just been dominant the entire time. I mean, case in point, we saw other teams try and go for a similar system where they get this, you know, fragger player, very, very heavy hitter, and try and mold them into an initiator player. Doesn't really work like that. But Heat has just been thriving, and now they're just a few steps away from knocking out Cloud9 here in our playoffs at a single limb. And again, the cast have been hitting it home. We've been hitting it home. It's a must-win for both these teams to even stand a chance of making champs.
Yeah, make no mistake, this is definitely a map that feels attack-sided, and for Crew to take 9 rounds, it's an ill omen here for Cloud9. Let's get the second half back underway. Over to our casters.
One half to decide it all. The lead that Crew have feels borderline overwhelming, but Cloud9 have to find a way to navigate through this and put together a comeback. Maybe not to the same degree of what we saw at the end of Lotus, but it's got to be almost as good.
You have to win this pistol round. You cannot let this neon composition run you down. It can put such a pace on you, it can almost be over before you know it. It's a fast C-split, the same way as Cloud9. No opposition met, but so much utility invested to take this site from Crew. The advantage right now is for Cloud9. On this retake, they're all flanking. Only Vanity gets hit by that trip, but it's a flip.
Zappa has a lot of util. Rooney has a lot of util to play around. Vanity still has his flash. How much further are they going to go into spawn here?
Oh, they got to clear all of it if they want. Moose, he has to come up huge. Oh, Meltzer, he's too on point right now.
Meanwhile, MTA is on the side by himself. He's been left alone. The flood out from Crew as they attempt to fight for the site. Vanity's got it to half. Can they keep it together? Meltzer's on the swing, gives his life away. And Heat has nothing he can do. He picks the wrong target. The defuse comes through. Oh my goodness. Down to the wire. Is that not the same way that Crew won their defensive pistol? Sticking the spike. My goodness. The proactivity from Crew was great. But the cosmetic stun, Kesnit with that neon stun. He played that so well. But the classic in that close range area, in that Omen smoke, it's fully accurate. The right click is too strong. And target selection in that smoke, I think, is what makes the difference. That's just so tough, man. He still would have had to have figured out the other kill and then get the defuse, but maybe buy himself a little bit of time. Either way, I mean, look at Crew's health.
Yeah, the shock dart ripped apart everybody. And Rooney, he's about to rip them to shreds as well with this Spectre. He gets 3. Oxy cleans it up. A flawless anti-eco round from the side of Cloud9.
So now the game really starts. For Cloud9, the possibility, the need for a bonus is tremendous. Let me take a look at it one more time. You're right, the shock dart at the beginning. I mean, Rooney, yeah, Oxy was involved too, and there were a lot of other assists that went on, but Rooney doing a lot of the heavy lifting that round.
He's so good with those shock darts in A lobby. Something you'll see more frequently in this last half. Potential last half of Haven, at least.
They've got so much presence towards A.
Yeah, this is a full short A trap.
And even if they get past the trap, look at the Killjoy bots. Look at the turret. They have everything here.
Different layers to escape out onto the A site. Do a lot of chip damage.
I mean, the buy from Cloud9 is not great.
Silence cooking in the minds of Cloud9 as well.
Cover going out.
Now the
Zeppa rotating away.
Now the smoke's through, and the first nano pop. There's still a second one that they're gonna have to navigate. Right on cue, but they should be able to pass right by it. Moose is playing his timing and his position so perfectly. And now he's tucked in the smoke. They still don't know that he's there. He can win this round by himself. The fact that he can't move is a sign. But MTA on the spam drops him. Moose had such a good opportunity, but not able to convert. And now the rest of Cloud9 flood to their death. Oxy a 1v5 with the Guardian, spotting the first, dashing away. No kills found. A flawless round for Crew.
Flawless after flawless. This time, Crew, they settle onto the site. Melzer could have been taken out there for sure, but this time, Moose. Sometimes you just get flustered in those moments when you can't exactly escape that smoke when somebody's right on the precipice of the other side. He just got stuck. A mental block. The crunch was there as well. MTA coming up from short. Crew did a really good job of weathering the storm of that smoke that can isolate A long and short. And Oxy with an operator online took a pop shot A long. That'll cause Crew to freeze the round once more. That gives the confidence of Shy to creep up. Doesn't have to worry of an operator being on the other end. He knows that it'll be a 50-50 against a rifler. He's going to break this Killjoy turret. Really good macro game so far from the side of Crew. Making gaps in the defense.
And doing so via the micro play of Shy, like the cage on the other side to protect his cover. Now the paranoia to the left, Kesnet back sight, but does not realize that Moose has been waiting.
Yeah.
And now it seems like Cloud9 are going to try to flood this. Given that Moose is playing backside, they have to try to help him as best as they can. And that's exactly what they're doing. How in the world does Rooney find that shot? Meltzer's now got 4 HP. Rooney and Moose, those two in tandem, winning the round for Cloud9.
That was crazy. Moose sitting in back sight, nobody clearing him out. Kesnet unaware. And then he cleans up 2 more after that. The anchor from the start of the round to the end of it.
That was the first gun round win for Cloud9 this map. Wow. I mean, they've struggled there.
Better late than never. Better late than never, Doug.
Finished.
And honestly, it was off of how decisive they were in fighting for Moose, fighting to keep him alive. They understood that was a win condition, and if they leave him isolated, that is gone.
The flood was great. The utility was great. Turret gets taken down early, but that was ultimately the cue for some of those A players to rotate over into A-Link and support their teammate that was anchoring in the backside. Now, that's something that Crew have to be worried about in future rounds. You have to clear out everything. No corners unturned. And that might catch you on different timings. Now, all of a sudden, when you clear back sight, maybe a flood's gonna happen through one of the links and you get shot in the back. All these small things play a factor. And a timeout from Crew Visa.
It's the last of the map.
Oh, he's spitting right now. He can feel it. He knows they're in the driver's seat still, even with that last round being lost.
Meanwhile, Cloud9 still have 1 to play around whenever Amy decides to press the big button. We'll get a quick check-in on the ults as soon as we get back into the action. You've got Rooney, who's got his Hunter's Fury online, and then a couple of members close by for theirs. Moose, really the one in particular I'm keeping an eye on, but on the other side, it feels like Crew have a little bit more of an ult advantage here.
Placing swarm grenade.
Yeah, you're coming close to that Neon ultimate. You're coming close to the Hunter's Fury.
Shy, we talked about the value he had with his ult.
Yeah, and if he gets a kill on a lurk as well, that'll be online.
Oh, he was fishing.
Yeah, Rooney was going for a lineup Sova ultimate play.
Yep.
With the backup of Oxy and Short. That being said, it's going to be a commitment onto this B plant and a TP out, baiting out the Hunter's Fury.
Those are those little micro and macro decisions that I think make the difference at the end of the day. Melzer TPing in, drawing out the ult, and then getting out.
Wow.
Now they can reset the map.
And the smoke into short A with the drone clearing out long. Oxy, he gets no value here, but he does hear all the footsteps being made by Kesnet. Usually where the Neon is where the team ends, so that's why you see a heavy lean towards this A site.
Oxy's dash will dissipate. Oh, if only he knew what was on the other side. Spotting a leg, not able to land the shot. And now he's got to realize that the corners are closing in. Waiting on the other side of the cage. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is losing the sight. Zeppa will fall. Op still in the hands of Oxy. Meanwhile, Crew running amok.
30 seconds left.
It's just vanity now as the Op falls. Moose too. And he's on a really late flank. A 2v4. Very reminiscent of the 2v5 that Cloud9 were able to pull off on Lotus. What boomed them in the first half? The need for Lightning to strike in the same place twice. And it might just work out. A 2v4 quickly gets cut down into a 2v3, but now it's all onto Moose and it cannot convert. Kesnet cleans up Moose, Crew get to 11, and again, the only reason Crew are here is because of Cloud9. What a gift this would be.
It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. Melzer getting out alive. That's why you see Omens go in first. Even Shy, yeah, he drops early there, but he gives his team the information that there's not one, but there's 2 players in short. And Zeppa, feeling immense pressure, decides to jump into that default smoke that a lot of defenders use, and he was met by 2 players just holding him down. Even if Oxy gets one more there, he's getting instantly traded. Zeppa getting too antsy in that moment.
And so Imi does hit the big button just a couple of moments after we talked about it. Final opportunity to talk with his team. Same goes for Adam on the other side. From this point forward, the coaches will not be included in the conversation. And so it all falls onto the IGLs. And this is where an IGL makes their living, man, is in moments like this.
It's insane.
Can Vanity somehow architect a ridiculous comeback to keep hopes alive for Cloud9?
Sometimes it can be so hard to do things like that when you yourself are not performing on that specific role.
Sure.
When you're performing, look at last map for Vanity. On that attacking side, he was sitting at 10-1 or 9-1 or something at some point. Making clutch plays, everything. It gets you into the flow state naturally. But can you do it when you're sitting at 4-15? That's what separates you from the greats. A walk down mid.
And a full send down C for Crew. The paranoia out, the wall up, the dart back sight, the ult popped. Playing on the other side of the stack, so they should be okay. The shot dart come through. Oxy just fully sends it. Fully committed, fully convinced in the flood. And it is just 3 kills for Kesnet. It's Crew on series point.
So convincing on that post plant. Kesnet smelling blood in the water, cleaning up 3 into that round. And really, the only times that Crew have lost on this attack half so far has been when Kesnet has been isolated from the rest of his squad. But this time, he just sits in the backside of C towards that plat area, using that Neon ultimate to just spam through the smoke. It's a rechargeable. And now, a fast pace, taking all of A long control, sliding into the cubby. And just like that, they're out.
Can Crew put Cloud9 away?
Cloud9 are biting on this.
They're all here, they're all A, you're right.
The call from Crew, it's been so good. They've conditioned this A default so many times. And they have rarely ended C after doing so.
They've taken the bait, hook, line, and sinker. The only thing is there's a little bit of time that's passed. And with that, doubt is introduced. Not to mention, they still have all this Killjoy utility C to confirm that that's not the case. They've got the turret from Garage, the alarm bot C.
Gotta go.
And so Crew have to be cautious. There's the alarm bot. Both nanos pop to flashback sight. Kesnet takes the space. This problem just got so much more difficult for Cloud9 to solve, but they have Moose's ult. And that's going to buy them some time. The only problem is the spike's already been planted, so they can fully vacate it.
And look at MTA. He's got the Hunter's Fury online. Oxy not being able to connect on a Kesnet there doesn't make an opening for C9 to bring this one back. There's so much utility from the side of Crew.
There's the ult popped. You see the dart. It's tagging up onto everybody. They've got to know. They know exactly where they are. Oxy tries to find some space, but he's dead. Vanity getting it to half. Oh, I don't even know that he got it to half. It's all into Moose and Zeppa now. Fighting for your year. Fighting for tournament life. And they both crumble. If Crew want to keep their champ streak alive, they need to go on a run. And they've just taken a massive first step. They take down Cloud9.
It's so hard to beat teams back-to-back. But they've done it. And what a fashion, what a showing on this last map of Haven Doug. Busting out a new comp. The first time you play the map. And for Cloud9, it's back to the drawing board. Your season's done.
Again, the way that it all plays out is so poetic. I want to remind you guys, Crew's only here because of the Cloud9 win. The last time they played, map 3 was Haven. The last time they played, Crew knocks Cloud9 down to the lower bracket. It was 13-6, and the score is the exact same. Both times they've clashed. It's 13-6 the way of Crew, with the stakes at such a high point. The first map a year ago was a filthy right cross. This was a knockout blow.
So convincing, so dominant. Smiles for the pictures at the end, too. They're feeling good.
And the boys in pink are back, man.
And this will now give Crew 2 chances to make it into champs. They're going to have to play against Lev, who, if you guys recall, knocked them down in the last playoff to make it to Shanghai. Some bad blood there.
Yeah, it's tough when you're playing against one of the best teams in the world. Those left guys were good, but I think for now, I mean, you're right. Crew have set themselves up really nicely. You just got to win one of the next two. And yeah, it's going to be hard, but it's not like Crew haven't faced something like this before.
They always seem to come up clutch somehow. I don't know how Crew do it time and time again, year and year again. It's ridiculous how they go on these runs. And we may have just witnessed the start of another one.
The streak stays alive. They still have a little bit of work to do, but the possibility is there. And so, because of the way this has played out, we have to say goodbye to Cloud9. They put up a fight. They put up a ridiculous fight, but it was just not enough at the end of the day. Stage 2 was an entirely different team from what we saw in Stage 1.
And to be fair, the strength of schedule was a lot different too. They caught out teams early on like Lev, who weren't the Lev that we know now. They caught out, a Loud, who was actually pretty good in Stage 1, so props to them for winning that. But in general, I feel like this is a team who, even the last 2 years, people write them off.
Unbelievable. Crew stay alive. We're going to send it down to Elizabeth, who's at the stage behind me right now for the Verizon post-match interview. Take it away.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And I am behind you with the man of the hour. It is Kesnet from Crew Visa. They're very happy you're here. The first question I want to ask you is about the single elimination style that you are in right now. Talk to me about that pressure, or do you feel any pressure at all?
Yo personalmente nunca siento presión. Siempre confío en mí mismo y el trabajo que venimos metiendo como equipo, así que nada, creo que es el primer pasito de muchos.
Me personally, I never feel pressure. This is just trusting in the process of the whole team that I put. So this is just the first step of many.
Never have felt pressure. Okay, fair enough. Well, what was it? I was talking to Imi, the coach of Cloud9, and he said that he expected you guys to ban Abyss. You did not. You left it open and you took it away from them. Why did you leave Abyss open and how did you run away with it?
Porque lo practicamos, o sea, no lo practicamos en realidad, lo practicamos una vez y confiamos y nada. Teníamos que salir a demostrar porque nosotros ya tenemos un ban que es Vine, entonces nada, teníamos que salir a demostrar con un entreno.
He said, we practiced. Actually, we didn't really practice. We played one game of this before. So it was just coming out and getting away with it. We already have that band that is Vine, so we just had to go with it.
Now we're going to go to the second map where you almost made one of the best comebacks I have ever seen. And part of that comeback was your incredible clutch. That 1v2, you played so aggressive, you were playing so smart. Talk to me about that clutch and what's going through your mind and how your team reacted.
La verdad es que creo que me ayudó la gente porque yo no sabía que Vanity venía atrás mío, entonces dije, ya la gente está gritando, entonces viene atrás mío.
I think it was mostly the people helping me because I didn't know Vanity was behind me and I heard people screaming, so I knew something was going on.
My very last question for you, if you can hear me over all the fans, is you'll be facing Leviathan next. The classic LATAM match, as Dan and I were talking before. Talk to me about that matchup and anything you would like to say to Leviathan.
¿Qué dijo al final?
Que si hay algo que le quieras decir a Leviathan.
Nada, creo que siempre agradecido de jugar con un equipo que tiene súper estrella y nada, creo que toca una vez más demostrar contra los mejores.
Very grateful to play against a team that has such superstars and happy to play against them again.
Well, we are all looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Kesnet. Everyone give it for Kesnet one more time. And I have a feeling no matter what stream you're in, if it's Finesses, if it's Psalms, if it's Terex, you know it's next. It's Sentinels versus 100 Thieves.
line. It's been drawn. They're picked to pieces.
Cloud9 are so good.